Man, what the? It's about the third time this week. Every time I take a nap, I wake up and this thing is whispering to me. Do I need to call the Ghostbusters or something? I mean, this thing is worse than that time that I had the clap. It just keeps coming back, no matter what I do. Stupid. You better get your ass out this bed. Welcome back to the channel, and there is some madness here in the air tonight. We are looking at Ryu Oyama's Cthulhu Evolution, released by Max Factory in partnership with Good Smile Company back in 2020. This is an incredibly difficult piece to find. It's very rare. Only a handful have gone up for sale in the past few years that I've seen, and that is including searching overseas primarily. Now, I did spend about under $1,000 for this. I've seen it go for a lot more, but I will tell you right now that that may sound like a lot, but once you have this in hand, it is completely worth it. This, in my opinion, is the greatest Cthulhu sculpt ever made. And yes, I am biased to Mr. Oyama. The series that this was in was Cthulhu Evolution, and actually, Takeya Takayuki released a Cthulhu interpretation in this series as well. If you don't know Takayuki, that is the person that created Shin Godzilla, but I don't need it because I have this guy. This is the penultimate Cthulhu. You have Ryu Oyama's classic texturization here, where the skin looks almost like pustules. You could just imagine that like pus is just leaking out of them as you stare at this thing. The crevices of the texture also have this red tint that looks like blood. I love how the back of the statue has a spine that's almost like it's on the exterior of the body rather than the interior. And I like also how the wings themselves, rather than just a typical leather look, they're like bone. And as you can see, the ridges along the outside of the wings look like a saw. I love that jagged razor blade look to it. And we're going to zoom out a little bit just so you can see the presence here. Now, when this thing came, it was in a rather large box. The statue itself and I believe the stand are one piece, but the feet and the hands are both magnetically attached. So there's not a lot of assembly into this. It is very heavy. I would say it probably weighs probably about 15 to 20 pounds. I may be exaggerating. It feels like 15 to 20 pounds because I'm weak. But it does have a bit of weight to it, a bit of heft. It is made out of polystone resin. And that is one of the reasons that we get that amazing detail where it really upholds the true original vision that Oyama had. I love the rice texture that he incorporated into the skin and how it smooths out once it gets to the forearms. If you look at the close-up here, you can really see that look, and you can see the spine and the bone texture of the wings and the back of the head there. Everything about this thing is immensely detailed. The base itself isn't really that crazy, but it doesn't need to be. I like how you can see here the transition from the grainy rice look into that smoother area of the arms. The paint app is amazing on this. The irises themselves are so disturbing to look at. The insides of the wings are so intricately detailed. And look at all of those fingers. Look at all of those toes. This is why we give in to madness. This is why we love Lovecraft, is because there's a part of each one of us that just wants to let loose. Aha, you thought it was going to be a jump scare. Just kidding. Yeah, so I really do think that this is probably one of Ryu Oyama's magnum opuses. I think this is like quite possibly the best thing he ever did. Of course, that's a difficult claim to make considering his work on the 95 Godzilla and several other pieces. But look at these tentacles as well and how they're so segmented, and I just want to suck on. Size comparison, 30 centimeter 1999 Gamera by X Plus. 25 centimeter Honeybones 1996 Gamera. And 35 centimeter Zeton stylized from Kaiju Remix by Acro. So Cthulhu, even on his stand, he's about, I would say about 45 centimeters tall to the tip of the wings. Pretty big. And there he is on the shelf, on the center shelf of my collection.